Good morning, students.
Good morning,
Good
ma'am.
morning, ma'am.
Good morning. You're all able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Right. So last class we were seeing a couple of queries, how we can write using group by aggregate functions, having clause, all these examples we saw. So to summarize our SQL queries, look here, a query in today's, query in SQL can have up to 6 clauses. This is very important question. What are the clauses that are mandatory in SQL? Only these two are mandatory. Select and that's all. Only these two are mandatory. That means that is compulsory. You cannot write a query without from. You cannot write a query obviously without select. You can still write a query with the rest of these. See here. You can write a query without where condition. We can write a query without group by. We can write a query without having. We can write a query without order by. So there are totally 6 clauses in SQL. That is select, from, where, group by, having, order by. Right? So you have to make use of these two in order to write any query. The basic minimum, the clauses that you have to use is select and from. You can drop where condition, you can drop the group by, you can drop having, you can drop order by also. Again, when you are using having, if you are using having, then you should have used group by. You can still use group by without using having. That is also fine. Right? Order by is used only when you are trying to put the records in certain order, ascending order, or it could be a descending order. Only then you make use of order by. Otherwise, order by is also not required. Right? Any doubts so far? Any questions? Right? So this is an explanation of that. Select clause, from, where, group by. Group by specifies the grouping attributes. Having, it specifies a condition on the group. That is why I said you can never use having without using group by. Because having is used to put a filter on the result that you have obtained by using group by. Okay, if you are not used group by, you cannot use having. Order by, as I said, is for specifying the order for displaying the result of a query. Okay, so how do you evaluate a query? What is the order in which? See, these are the clause I said which we are using in order to write a query. What is the order in which these will get executed? Any idea? Any answer for that? What is the order in which these clauses will get executed? What is order? First one, which will get executed first? If I give all this, come on, tell me. Make the class interactive. Don't sit silent like this.
Select. It will
Do you think
start from
select?
order.
Yeah.
From
What will get executed first? What is the order in which? What is the order in which this will get executed?
Select, ma'am. Is it select?
First select will get executed. Last will be the select. Select will always be the last that will get executed. Yeah. Somebody saying something?
First will be from.
From, huh?
Right to left, ma'am.
Yeah, sorry.
From right to left. I mean,
Right,
from
where
order by.
Where is right and where is left here?
From order by, ma'am.
From order by. Okay. Let us see. See here. See the last point. That's very important. A query is evaluated by first applying the where clause. Then
Now your slides are not changing.
it's not changing.
No, ma'am.
No.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Let me present it again. I'm not sure why it is not changing. Okay. I'll go into the presentation mode. Right. Is it changing now?
No, ma'am.
No?
No, ma'am.
Right. It's not changing. How about now?
Yes, ma'am, it is changing.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So see the last point here. A query is evaluated by first applying the where clause. First where will get executed because that is where you are specifying the condition. Then will be your group by. After group by will be having, and finally you are going to apply the select clause. Okay. If you have an order by will also get executed because you are giving order by after group by. Okay, that you will give. So it first will be, it will group it, then it will order it based on that, then finally your select clause will get executed. So it's very important to know what is the order in which the select clause gets executed. Select is always the last because what we do in select we are displaying, is it not? Only see when I say let us say in our lab exercise we saw what example can I take? Let us say we said something like select tourist ID, count of state, right? So the select tourist ID, count of state, that value should be ready, is it not? Only then you can display it. You are using select in order to display that both these attributes. So unless your count is ready with result, that attribute is ready with result, it will be ready only when you have executed group by, you have executed having, only then you get a value in that particular attribute. So that is when it will get executed. So select will always be the last. Right. Any questions so far? Any doubts, anyone? No. I'm going to take one more example for this database. So far, we have dealt with our company database, which is part of your syllabus. So I had to deal with that. So that if you're trying to refer to any book or any questions will be based on that, syllabus is referring to that. So we had to complete all that. So that's fine now. Let's take another example. I want all of you to give some answers and be interactive in this session. Okay. Don't simply sit and I don't know what you do at the other end. Anyways, yeah. What are you trying to see here? What is visible? Can anyone tell me? What is visible, I asked.
ER diagram.
ER diagram. Finally, some answer I'm getting. So, right?
Yeah, diagram of my railway train system.
Railway reservation system. Very good. So, this is an ER diagram of the railway reservation system. Now, I want you all to answer me now for the questions that I'm going to post to you. Okay. What are the strong entities in this ER diagram? Which are the strong entities? Is it visible, first of all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which are the strong entities? Now all of
User-
you should be able to answer me because your internals are over. At least some level of studying you would have done, I hope. So yeah, somebody was saying something. Continue, please.
User, passenger, train, station.
What are these?
Strong entities, ma'am.
Okay. What is a strong entity?
Which has a primary key.
Which has a primary key. Who answered me now? I didn't see you. Venaka?
Yes, ma'am. Then
Yeah. So your chance is over. Okay?
okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Right. Don't feel bad on that because everybody should be answering me. That's right.
It's okay. Ma'am.
Yeah. Right. Next. What are the weak entities in this? Are there any weak entities in this particular ER diagram? Can anyone tell me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What are the weak
Uh,
entities?
Train status,
Hmm.
route,
Hmm.
and
Root.
train class.
Okay. Who answered me now?
Raman.
Yeah. Chance is done. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. What is a weak entity, Raman?
We don't have any primary key, ma'am.
Correct. Yeah. Okay, fine. Now Raman told me that train status, route, and train class, right? These are the weak entities. Which are the owner entities for these weak entities? Who's going to answer me next? Which are the owner? See, whenever we all know that weak entity is one which has no primary key. Weak entity should always be associated with the owner entity, or you call it as an identifying entity. Now, for these weak entities, which are the owner entities?
Ma'am, for train class and route, the owner entity is train, and for train status, the owner entity is also train, ma'am.
Who's answering me?
Chaitra.
Chaitra. Okay. Your chance is over, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. See, very good. Well, the answer is right. For train status, route, and train class, all these three are weak entities. All the three owner entity is train only. You observe that there are three identifying relationships. Has this side here and here and here. These three are called as identifying relationship, always represented with a double diamond. Okay, right, very good. Do we have, my next question to you all, do we have any multi-valued attributes here? Do we have any multi-valued attributes here?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, fine. What are all the relationships in the CR diagram? Who's going to answer me? Please tell your name because I'm not at that screen. I'm bad at recognizing your voice.
Ma'am, books.
Who is this?
Shadab.
Shadab, yes, good. Tell me.
Ma'am, books
Okay.
has,
Mm-hmm.
and second has, and third
Okay.
has.
Third has, okay.
And
They are all identifying relationships. Okay. Yeah, anyway, go ahead.
mm,
What else?
show destination,
Mm.
show source,
Mm.
and that starts from
Mm.
and below that.
Below that consists of.
Yes, ma'am.
End at. Is that all?
Books also, ma'am.
Yeah, books also, you told me. That's all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, my next question is, do we have any ternary relationship here? Do we have any ternary relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
Who's this?
Lavanya, ma'am.
Tell me.
Books, ma'am. For books, we have ternary relationship.
Books is a ternary relationship. Okay. Is that the one? That's all? Do we have any more? Do we have any more?
That's it.
That's
That's it, I think, ma'am.
You think? Okay. All right.
That's it, ma'am.
All right. Fine. Yeah. Okay. Next question. Do we have any recursive relationship here in this particular ER diagram? Do we have any recursive relationship here?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is this?
Naval.
Naval, tell me. After a long time hearing
Passenger
your
station.
passenger.
Station.
Where? Recursive relationship. Where is it?
No, ma'am.
No, I don't see any. No, Naval, I think you got me wrong. You understood my question?
Yeah, ma'am.
What did you understand? I asked you what do you mean by recursive relationship? Tell me. Naval. Searching in your notes.
And which has supervision.
Which has? See,
Not
two.
clear.
Yeah, tell me.
I'm not clear, I think.
You are not clear. Okay. See, Naval, recursive relationship means in a relationship, the same entity should participate in two different roles.
Okay.
Then we call such a relationship as a recursive relationship. If two entities are participating, two different entities are participating, then you don't call such a relationship as a recursive relationship. Are you getting me?
Yeah, ma'am.
Same entity. So now, for example, passenger, it should be participating in two different roles in the same relationship. Now, passenger is related by in how many relationship is passenger participating? Can you tell me?
Ma'am, books.
Okay. Yes.
Show
Show
source, destination.
Yeah. Show source and show destination and books. These are the three relationship passenger is participating. Correct? So,
Yes.
in each of these relations, for example, books, you have other entity also which is participating, user and train status. And you have for show source, you have station participating, show destination also station is participating. So there are two different entities which are participating. So we cannot call them as recursive relationship. They are binary relationship because two entities are participating. Are you clear?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Next, what shall I ask you? Now, someone told me that there are no multi-valued attributes in this. Who is that? Lavanya. Who told me?
Kaushik.
Kaushik.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, there are no multi-valued attributes. That is right. But look at that train status. If you look at what we are observing is, though there are no multi-valued attributes as per the notation, it is not there. But what they have done, available seat 3, available seat 2, 1, like that, they have given various attributes. Are you observing that? Waiting seat 1, waiting seat 2, waiting seat 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Booked seat 1, 2, and 3. This is one way to reduce our, to make our table normalization. This is one way in which you can try to avoid multi-valued attributes. We studied in our normal forms. You remember? If you get to know how many columns are required, that many attributes we can add. But this will lead to a lot of redundancy. Right.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
I have one question, ma'am. Which one is primary key for user, ma'am?
User.
Yes, ma'am. User entity.
User entity. Why there is no primary key? Is it?
I'm searching, ma'am. That's why I asked.
I think they are missed out or what?
We don't have like user ID or something like that, ma'am.
Yeah.
Just name.
Yeah. Email ID, we can take it. Is it not?
Yes, ma'am. Email ID can be the
Yes, ma'am.
primary
Yeah.
key.
But
Email
it should
ID.
be underlined, no, ma'am, in order
That's
to.
okay. Yeah, probably they have not done that, but that's fine. I just took this as an example, just to give you all more information on that. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah. For passenger, for user, they can take use email ID as a primary key because email IDs are all very unique, no? And they have shown it as a single valued attribute. So email ID can be taken. For passenger, I think what is the primary key? PNR?
Reservation status, ma'am.
Who's that?
PNR.
For passenger, what is the reservation status? How it can be primary key, man? Who told me this?
Ma'am, because it will show the PNR number, ma'am, in the registration status.
What, Raman?
Ma'am, because it will show PNR number in registration status. That's why it is.
See, reservation status it is. Reservation status will show you whether your ticket is confirmed, whether your ticket is in waiting list, whether your ticket is an RAC, whatever, or RAC, or is it confirmed. It is for that. How you can make that as primary key?
Ma'am, reservation status will also show PNR number, no, ma'am. It will contain that.
It will show, but today it may show my confirm. See, reservation status can be same for many people, no?
Ma'am, seat number. We can
PNR number itself is the primary key, is it not?
Ma'am, seat number, ma'am.
How seat number?
Ma'am, seat number is changing for a person.
No, it is seat number 10 for 10. If there are 10 bogies, it will be seat number 10 for 10 bogies. For each bogie, it will be seat number 10.
Then how is seat number can be primary key?
Only one logic that I had, ma'am, for reservation status, ma'am, because it contains PNR number. That's why I thought, ma'am, it will be the primary key for that.
No. You cannot have why you are feeling why you cannot have PNR as a primary key? That is what I'm asking you.
Yes, ma'am. It is not given, ma'am. That's why. PNR is given. Oh, sorry, ma'am. I haven't seen the PNR. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. That's why I was wondering why the hell you are telling me all the time reservation status. Right. Okay. Now tell me, for route, how will you identify a record uniquely in this route entity? Who can answer me? Are you all there?
Stop number, ma'am.
Stop number. Who told me?
Raman.
Raman, stop number kyun? Why stop number? What is route?
We have to identify the specific routes, ma'am.
I asked you, what will be the primary key for root entity? It cannot be stop number. I'll tell you why. But let me get some answers.
Ma'am, train ID, stop number.
Yeah, that makes sense. Who said?
Chaitra.
You are violating the rules of the game. All of you. Raman, Chaitra and all.
Sorry, ma'am. Not answer again.
Not like that, just on the lighter side. Because when others are not answering, then that's fine. But I thought at least maybe somebody else is also trying to answer. That's all. It's okay. Don't take me wrong.
No, ma'am.
Yeah. See, route number cannot have a primary key as stop number. It has to always be combined with the primary key of the owner entity. Primary key of the owner entity is what? Train ID, is it? Yeah, train ID. Train is the owner entity of root. So train has a primary key, which is train ID. So train ID along with maybe one of the attributes of root will be the primary key of root. Can anyone tell me what will be the primary key of train class entity? Train class.
Ma'am, it's a weak entity. No? There is no primary key.
Who's this?
Naval.
Naval. See, if it is a weak entity, correct. But how do I identify every record of a weak entity then?
Should be.
How I should be able to identify the record? What will it has no primary key, correct? But what can be made as a primary key there? Like for in root, the train class is also a weak entity. So for weak entity, how can I make a primary key? Can anyone tell me?
Ma'am, train ID and seat class.
The train ID and seat class. Okay, makes sense. Any of the attribute within this train class you can take as the partial key. This partial key will be combined with the primary key of the owner entity. Primary key of owner entity is train ID. So train ID plus seat class together, you will be able to identify a unique record within the train class. Am I clear?
Train ID and fare class, ma'am?
Yeah, no problem. You can use it. You can use any of the attribute, take any of the attribute as a partial key because none of them can be considered as primary key. So none of them will be unique. So you can take any. What happened? Right. Now, if I try to, how many total participations are there here? See, every relationship, many of you all did not write this answer properly in your internals also. I want to stress on this particular point. I had asked you all to differentiate between total, I'm sorry, what is it? I had asked maximum cardinality and minimum cardinality, right? I had asked you that. Now, I just want to stress on that particular point. Now, whenever you have a relationship, the relationship will have certain constraints. Now, there are two types of constraints on this relationship. One is called as the maximum cardinality. The other one is called as the minimum cardinality. Okay. Now, when you talk of maximum cardinality, you are trying to say this, it is again of four types: one to one, one to many, many to one, many to many. These are all your four different types of maximum cardinality, that is. When we talk of minimum cardinality, they are of two types: total participation and partial participation. So as we know, total is represented by double line, partial is represented by single line, right? But many of you, I don't know why you all got confused, or I don't know what you all have written it wrong. Now, how many how many total participations do you see here? Remember one thing, always weak entity along with their owner entity will be a total participation only. It cannot be a partial participation. And you're observing here also. Train status is weak entity. Look at this. Why it's not writing? Look at this participation. It is total. Why it's not writing? Here also, it's very slow. Here also it is total. See, train and route and this part. What happened? Stuck. One second, students. One minute, no, just a minute. I don't know what happened. You're able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. See, whenever you have a weak entity, the participation will always be total towards the identifying relationship. See here, this one. This is a weak entity. Train status is a weak entity. This part is a total participation. Train class is a weak entity. This part is a total participation. This part may be total, may not be total. It may be partial also. If it is total, fine, but it can be partial. But this side of the relationship cannot be partial at all. All right. So that's the thing I wanted to tell. Apart from this, how many total participations are you seeing? Which are the total participations? Can anyone answer me?
Passenger to books, ma'am.
Passenger to books, okay. Yeah.
Train
Passenger
status to books.
This one.
Train status to books.
Okay, that is a weak entity, so it has to be total, right?
And passenger to show source.
Show source, show destination. This is a total participation. This is a total participation, right? Many are there.
Yes.
Shows,
Yes,
yeah, train. All these are total participations. Right. Now, any doubt in the CR diagram? Anyone? Okay. No question. So now let us move on to write the schema diagram of the same. Here, who was asking Benaka? Benaka, are you there? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
See the primary key of user.
Email ID. No? Yes.
Email ID. It's underlined. Yes. So email ID, full name, password, age, gender, mobile, city, security question and answer. This is about your user. Train, we have train ID as a primary key and all these other attributes. Station, we have station ID and station name. Passenger, Raman. Raman.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, PNR is very much here, primary key.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, passenger name, then gender, all that. Reservation status, where it is. It is not at all seen here, is it not? Passenger ke liye reservation status, I don't know where they dropped it. Then train route. See here, route is a, look here, route is a weak entity, correct? So I told we have to have a combination of primary key of the owner entity plus a partial key, correct? So here see train ID and stop number. These two together form the primary key of root. Status, train status. Train status is also a weak entity, this one. So again, they have taken train ID and available date. These two are together form the primary key. Here available date becomes the partial key of train status. Then consists of is a relationship. It has total participation both the sides. See, so that is why for consists of they have created a new table. Okay, so it should contain station ID, train ID. That is primary key of this and primary key of the owner entity of root. Okay, so that will be the primary key of combination is station ID and train ID. And stop number, because stop number we have taken obviously, right? So that will be your primary key of consists of. Reservation, I think that is books. Instead of books, they have named it as reservation. So here we have email ID, PNR, train ID, available date. All this together will be your reservation. Any doubt so far?
No, ma'am. It's clear.
Yeah. So now we can start writing some queries on this, right? Can we?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. Let me share some query with you all. Okay. Train ID, what is given? Let me see. Okay. I'm putting the query in the chat window. I want all of you to write that. So I want you all to list out all the trains, okay, which travel more than, yeah, Bhanu Prakash, tell me, 1,000 kilometers. Bhanu Prakash, why did you raise your hand? Yeah, tell me, you raised your hand. You have any doubts?
No, ma'am. By mistake,
Okay.
I raised my hand.
Okay. Now, I want all of you to write this query and then put it in the chat box. List all the trains which travel more than 1,000 kilometers. Okay. I'll leave you with the schema. Should that be fine? Yes. You want ER diagram or schema diagram to write it? Schema, right. Write down, put it in the chat box. See, unless you try writing these kind of queries, you won't learn. I'm telling you again and again. List all the trains which travel more than 1,000 kilometers. Select train from train T route R where T dot train ID is equal to and R dot. Very good, Darshan. Correct. That's right. Anyone else? A different query? Any other different query? All right, select train from train R where, yes, T dot train ID is equal to R dot source distance is wrong, Kishan. Manish is right. Shadab, train name, okay, Shadab is also right. Kishan, you have gone wrong somewhere. Where, okay, all of you are right, right? Good, all of you are right. Let me put on the next query. This is the train which has the, this is the train which has a maximum waiting list. Okay, so that this is the train which has a maximum waiting list. I'll put you on to the schema. Yes. Maximum waiting list on a particular day you can take. Because maximum waiting list is always day wise, no? So you can take it on a particular date. Maximum waiting list on any particular day. Okay. Do that because today's waiting list for one particular train may be maximum. Tomorrow it may be different. So for every day it will change, no? Anyone? Okay, let me see. Train name from train T, status where ID and max of waiting seat, group by train name, no. T where Manish is wrong. Shadab, no, wrong it is, Shadab. Max of waiting seat, group by train name. No. Naka is also not right. What did I ask? List the train which has a maximum waiting list. Yeah, what you should do first of all. Your approach is what I'm more looking out at. How are you analyzing this query? Okay, a little change of variables and this and that is all fine. You have to list. Let me give you some idea on that. So and then I'll see if you are able to write it. List the train which has the maximum waiting list. So what you should do first of all, you have to see for every train, count the count how many waiting lists are there. Is it not? Once you do that, you will have to take the, once you say I'm counting for every train, I count the what is the waiting list for that train. Once I do that, I get a list of all the trains and all the waiting list. Like say train 1, T1 is 5, T2 is 3, T4 is 10, T5 is 12, like that. Then which is maximum there? T5 12. So I have to retrieve T5 12 means I'll put a having clause. I don't see that at all in your queries. Group by and having is required here. I need maximum. Similar to how many matches were won in that particular which stadium, maximum matches were won. Something like that, is it not? And why none of you have done that right, I don't know. Try now. For every train, first you will have to find out, count the number of waiting list in every train. Once you do that, you will have to pick out whichever train has got the maximum. That's all. So you have to do group by train ID or whatever it is. Group by train ID because train number is very unique always. Once you do group by train number, what you are counting? Group by train number means for every train, what are you counting? You are counting the waiting list. Once you do that, put a having clause on that. So your having clause will be what? Max of count of waiting list. That is what you want. Are you clear with what I said? Simply you can't write max of waiting list. That will become wrong, I think. Just max of waiting list will not give you. You have to count how many waiting lists are there. Try it out. I'll put the schema. Did anyone try? What happened? Train name from train status where train ID and count of waiting seat. No, count of waiting seat having select count max of count of from train status group by train name. Not clear to me. See, let me put down something. Let us say select train ID. Okay. Count of waiting list group by train name. Okay, Lavanya is right. Looks her query looks okay. Count of wait list from train T, train status TS where T dot group by T dot train ID. See this query, all of you. Select T dot train ID, comma count of TS dot wait list. Okay, from train T and train status TS, where T dot train ID is equal to TS dot train ID group by train ID. So what this will do, this is not the full query. What this query will do, this query will, for every train, it is going to count the number of waiting list. So we will get a huge list of, no, the result will be what? Containing two columns. First column will be all the train ID. The second column will be the waiting list of each of the train. But we don't want everything. We want only that which has a maximum count. So again, now on this particular grouping result, I'll have to put a filter. That I will do using having. So what I can do that is, I will just copy this. Group ID having count of TS dot waitlist is equal to select max of count of waitlist from train status group by train ID. See? This is what you should do. Then you will get what is the maximum waiting list for which train. All right. Any doubts, anyone? Okay. Write this, list all the passengers traveling in a particular train. Can you do that? List all the passengers traveling in a particular train. Try that query. List all the passengers traveling in a particular train. While you do that, you can answer your attendance, Anaga.
Yes, ma'am.
Abhilash. Abhilash is not there. Abhilash is absent. Okay. Akhil?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Akrut, yes, Akrut. Anusha?
Yes, ma'am.
Aravind? Aravind is absent. Abhilash is absent. Aravind is absent. Harifullah?
Yes, ma'am.
Menaka?
Present, ma'am.
Banu? Bhargav?
Yes, ma'am.
Rahmatullah? He's not there today. Chaitra?
Present, ma'am.
Chandana?
Present, ma'am.
Charan? Darshan?
Present, ma'am.
Diksha?
Yes, ma'am.
Dakshayani?
Present, ma'am.
Kishan?
Present, ma'am.
Ashit?
Present, ma'am.
Hema?
Present, ma'am.
Uma?
Yes, ma'am.
Jayant?
Present, ma'am.
Divya?
Yes, ma'am.
Kaushik? Kaushik? Lakshmi?
Present, ma'am.
Lavanya?
Present, ma'am.
Manish?
Present, ma'am.
Manoj?
Yes, ma'am.
Mohit? Okay. Naval?
Present, ma'am.
Nikhil?
Present, ma'am.
Navya?
Present, ma'am.
Panindra?
Present, ma'am.
Pavan? Pavan is not there. Pooja?
Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Who's telling present in place of you? Purnima?
Present, ma'am.
Raman?
Present, ma'am.
Rashmi? Okay. Rupak?
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Kumar?
Present, ma'am.
Samir?
Present, ma'am.
Dosh?
Present, ma'am.
Chada?
Present, ma'am.
Sharon? Shashank?
Present, ma'am.
Utal?
Present, ma'am.
Shivani?
Present, ma'am.
Soumya?
Present, ma'am.
Spurti?
Present, ma'am.
Vishnu? Vishnu is present. Okay. Sugandhini?
Present, ma'am.
Sushma?
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita? Okay. Sushmita, you?
Present, ma'am.
Tirtha?
Present, ma'am.
Tripti?
Present, ma'am.
Varsha?
Present, ma'am.
Veena? Veena is absent. All right. Who is present? Who is absent? Sushmita BS is present. Vishnu is present. Sharon is present. Rashmi is present. Mohit is present. Okay. Veena is absent. Then who else is absent for today? Pavan is absent. Then who else? Aravind is absent. Rahmatullah is absent. Abhilash is absent. Okay. Did anyone try writing? Only I am seeing attendance. Nobody has written the query at all. I asked you all to write one query, right? What did I ask you? List all the passengers traveling in a particular train. Was that difficult?
Ma'am, schema table.
Yes.
Diagram.
Right. So let's okay, no problem. Let's continue this on Monday. Should that be okay? Yeah, I know you are all waiting for that only. I know that, yes. All right, students, if no more Any questions, any doubts, any queries? We'll continue this on Monday, probably maybe some more examples on how we can do. We'll take up a couple of more examples on this so that this will help you to write. Unless you make an effort, it will not. I may show you 100 examples, but you should be able to write it. No, that is where it all lies in. Right? Okay, then. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.